All right. Hey everybody, welcome back to the JG Show. I'm in the ring with Rory, and we're going to be talking about the state of boxing post-pandemic. This is a very trying time for boxing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's bad, man.
All right, so what you were saying, what's the best way that we can get a big understanding of what boxing is doing? We all know UFC they're killing it. They're the number one entertainment supplier now in the world. Live stream fights, Fight Island, Vegas. They've got title fights, 2 title fights just last weekend. What's going on with boxing?
Like, the best way to whose fucking phone is that?
Whose phone is that? Is that your phone?
No.
Some fucking prick left his phone. I hope he eats shit and dies.
Here he comes, walking slow as fuck.
Yeah, can you get rid of your... Just throw this glove at the phone.
That was a good hit as well.
Fucking...
Motherfuckers. So, I hate people phoning too much.
All right. Sorry about that, let's go on.
Right, the state of boxing. Boxing's been in a state before the pandemic even hit. Like, it's been
It's a dire state.
It's been slowly declining since the last time it was good. The boxing generally goes in the same pathway. If the heavyweight division's good, boxing's in a good state. And the heavyweight division hasn't been in a very good state since the days of Holyfield, Tyson, those kind of days. Since then, it's been declining steadily, and you can see that from the top 10 fights ever. Top 10 for the most pay-per-view buys ever.
Ever in history.
Ever in history, yeah. Only 3 of them for boxing have happened in the last decade.
3 of them were... Okay, so in the last decade, the top 10 pay-per-view events that have happened, only 3 are boxing.
Yeah.
The rest of 7 is what?
Well, fuck that. Out of the top 10 pay-per-views ever.
Okay.
Out of the boxing ones, only 3 of them have happened in the past decade. The previous ones all happened before that. So
I get it. Yeah. So the last decade, only 3 of them, only 3 big boxing events pretty much have happened.
And all of them included Floyd Mayweather.
Okay, yeah.
Who's now gone.
Who's now retired, yeah.
On the flip side, Khabib versus Conor is the 3rd highest pay-per-view of all time.
Really?
Yeah. Number 2 was Floyd versus Conor. So number 2, number 3 of the all-time.
So UFC just came in there and created two largest pay-per-view events that have happened in combat history.
Yeah, and the problem with that is what happened with McGregor and Mayweather kicked off this period in boxing where it just became, what's the biggest event we can make right now to get the most eyes on tonight? How much money can we make today? There's no focus on the future or development or anything like that.
Okay, and you have to be honest, that's true. Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor, they started this.
They started this shit.
They started this crap where it's not about the best should fight the best. It's about how can we make the most money? You know, get this guy who's a YouTuber or whoever.
Talking about that, do you know, when I was looking at the list for this podcast,
okay,
that KSI Logan Paul fight is the 21st highest pay-per-view buys of all time.
No way!
All time.
No way, okay, so did you hear that? The 21st?
The 21st on the list, for reference here, Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield was 1.59 million pay-per-view buys.
Okay.
KSI and Logan Paul done 1.3.
1.3, okay, so 2 YouTubers get in the ring and they pretty much break a record.
Well, they buy it, yeah. That was like streamed on YouTube and shit.
That's amazing, yeah? So that shows you not only the state of boxing, but the state of social media, how powerful of an engine it is to fuel these kind of events, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've not really got a problem with it, to be honest. Like having McGregor fight Mayweather, having KSI fight some YouTuber, Logan Paul. Like, if they want to fight for that money, that's fine.
Whatever.
But don't sell it like a fucking elite boxing match. Like having anyone thinking that McGregor was going to beat Mayweather is a fucking idiot. And Mayweather played that game for a few rounds and then came back and dismantled him. I mean, McGregor just got announced for Pacquiao next year. Anyone that thinks that McGregor's got a chance against Pacquiao in a boxing ring is a fucking idiot.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you know what I mean? Like
Pacquiao's such a way more aggressive fighter than Mayweather.
Pacquiao he's not really a showman as much as Mayweather either.
Yeah.
He won't play about for so many rounds. But like I said, I don't have a problem with these kind of comedy exhibition matches, but they're selling them as legit boxing matches.
Yeah, and the thing is people's understanding, right? People's education of of boxing, of overall combat, is actually very low. But they know big names, and they know what comes in their Instagram feed, right?
And
they start,
away,
you know,
it's taken away from the stars of the sport, like Canelo Alvarez.
That's what the problem is the actual the fighters that have been investing 20 to 30 years of their lives building themselves up to get these fights that finally they can get well paid. They're all now being pushed further and further down to make way for some YouTube star or some guy who like wants to make some quote unquote comeback, right?
Yeah, retirement comebacks and cross promotion fights. That's the only fights that boxing is interested in making, and that is summed up by the Canelo Alvarez deal.
Yes,
the biggest deal in boxing history. Alvarez would have been on DAZN for 11 fights.
Okay,
making $365 million. That was the plan. Now what's happened is Canelo's suing DAZN for breach of contract because DAZN were only interested in getting him fights with Oscar De La Hoya.
Coming out of retirement. What, Mexican versus Mexican?
Yeah, retirement. The Gennady Golovkin third fight.
Okay.
Which Alvarez wasn't interested in because he's beaten him twice.
Beaten him twice. It doesn't make sense.
And then the only other two that DAZN had as potentials were a Khabib boxing match and a Jorge Masvidal boxing match.
And a Jorge Masvidal.
You've got Canelo Alvarez, who right now is the undisputed pound for pound best boxer in the world.
Yeah.
And instead of looking at guys like the Charlo twins that fought at the weekend, or I don't know, anyone at reasonable fights, they've got UFC cross promotional fights.
They're trying cross promotion fights. They're getting guys with big followings on social media, and they're seeing if they can get in. Masvidal, credit to him. He's a great. He made his name as a street brawler, right?
He's not even that good at UFC fights.
But he's not even that good. I was, all the Masvidal fans out there, like his last fight with Usman, whatever excuse you give him, he didn't do very well. He did not do very well.
He got overpowered. I mean,
but still, UFC likes him because he's a big marketing arm, right?
He's a good striker. How many times has he lost? 8 times? 11 times?
He has lost a considerable amount of times compared to how big his personality is. But that's just his charisma. That's his thing. His social media game is on point. He's 100% there, but in the ring, it's kind of like he's the same with Conor McGregor. He's so big on social media. He puts all his energy there. But when it comes to the actual fight, you're not seeing the best guy against the best guy.
No. I wouldn't mind seeing Conor McGregor fight someone reasonable. Like
you were saying Gaethje, right?
No, I mean in boxing.
In boxing?
If he wants to try, just start at a reasonable level. I can't even think.
Yeah, I can't even think of someone, but definitely Manny Pacquiao.
Don't fight fucking Mayweather and Pacquiao, two of the greatest of the last 10 years, you know what I mean?
Guys have been like, their dream is to get in the ring with these greats, right? They've been training their whole lives. They're coaches, they're managers. They've been pitching, trying to get him a fight with these guys. And Conor McGregor strolls in and is like, oh, I think I'll take a fight like that and I'll take that payday, right?
$100 million, easy.
That is, that's crazy, huh?
Money talks, but the problem is that it takes away from stuff that's actually happening. And when's the fucking Lomachenko fight?
So the Loma fight is
October
17th. Yeah, 18th morning for us, right, in China. Yeah. So that fight, tell us about that fight. That is that arguably might be the best fight for the year, right?
For right now, for boxing for the rest of the year, for everything that's announced officially, Teofimo Lopez versus Vasily Lomachenko is by far the best event we've got. So
how that was put together, how they managed to do that?
The best thing about this is that the thing that happens again and again with boxing is that, like we saw with Mayweather and Pacquiao, the fight takes too long to make. That fight was 6 years too late? So it takes too long to make. There's too many promoters, television deals, managers to make happy. The fights don't usually happen. But the thing about Lopez and Lomachenko is it's happening exactly when it should. Okay. Lopez is undefeated. He's 23. This is his first title defense.
Yes.
Lomachenko's 32, 33.
And you get
He has the rest of the belts. He lost once towards the beginning of his career. He's the most successful amateur boxer ever.
That's really exciting. Yeah.
They're fighting exactly when they should be fighting.
Right when they should be, right? Yeah. Who's the Lomachenko? Just to see him back in.
The thing is, Lomachenko, they're fighting at lightweight, and after Lomachenko moved to lightweight, he's easier to get hit. He's been getting hit a lot more at lightweight than he was before, and Lopez has got power. In his punches, but Lomachenko's just his footwork, he's creative, he's fast. He's really difficult to hit in any day. So I mean, Lopez will have a hard time touching him, but if he does, he's got power in his hands. Yeah, so Lopez is a heavy hitter, right? Lopez does have some heavy hits, right? Let me see. Yes. Did you watch this one last time? I did. It's funny. It's funny. It's really funny.
That's why I wanted to do another one. Get the fans, get everybody happy. Yeah, so that's...
Yeah, Lomachenko Lopez is the fight for the rest of the year.
And that is October 17th. For us here in China, that's October 18th, obviously, China time. It's in the morning. They'll be fighting in Vegas, no doubt, right? Is that a Vegas fight?
Not sure. It might even be Los Angeles. But anyways, it's US time.
It's really US time, yeah. So that's an exciting fight. The other fight that's come up is the Usyk fight.
Yeah.
What do we? Is that happening? I mean,
It's official, yeah.
You were saying who's the guy that was sparring him in Ukraine now?
David Allen. I tell you what, that's actually David Allen, UK heavyweight, is in Ukraine now helping Usyk get ready for the fight. He's as a sparring partner.
Okay.
And he says that he's never sparred anyone that moves as well as Usyk, except from Tyson Fury.
Ooh.
He reckons Tyson Fury and Usyk
is a good fight.
Move the best.
That's a fight coming into the future, I think.
Usyk Fury. Well, Usyk needs the guys like Derek Chisora, he's strong, he's aggressive, but Usyk should have no problem getting through him. Usyk shouldn't really have a problem until he gets to Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, those high level guys.
Yeah.
That's when you'll see, because Usyk is a naturally smaller guy.
Yes.
So you'll see against those top guys how he actually does, but the guy moves like a welterweight.
Amazing, huh?
He's got that championship mentality. He's an Olympic gold champion. He was a unified, undisputed cruiserweight champion.
Cruiserweight, that's right. He's got the cruiserweight.
Yeah, and now he's moving up to heavyweight. So
there you go. So that one, what time is that? What day is that?
A week after the Lopez fight, October 31st.
So even though this year has been a rough year for events in general, and boxing's always been having a rough ride. At least we've got two great events in October, almost probably in the same time zone as well. So we'll be watching them.
It's the start of what could be a comeback for boxing. I mentioned the heavyweight division being the most important division in boxing. The thing is, at the end of the day, you've got Joshua versus Pulev, which is still to be officially announced.
That's to be that's.
They said they're going to go December with a crowd or not. So Joshua Pulev, then you've got Tyson Fury Wilder, and then after that, hopefully, if they both get through, it should be Joshua Fury. But that has to happen.
That has to happen, and we don't want it to be delayed and excuses to raise up or anything like that.
The fact that it's still getting dragged on, as if maybe it will happen, maybe it won't, is bullshit. It sums up the state of boxing. The fact that you've got two British heavyweights holding all of the belts,
and still it's unknown whether or not they're even going to meet up.
Well, they're getting tied up with mandatories.
Yeah.
I don't want to see fucking Joshua fight Pulev.
Yes.
Or Tyson Fury fight Wilder again for the third time.
Yeah, that needs to just be bought out. That contract just needs to be bought out, and we got to go straight to Joshua.
Even if Joshua beats Pulev and Fury beats Wilder, it won't be for the undisputed belt because Usyk is the mandatory challenger.
Okay.
So Joshua will be forced to vacate one of the belts if he fights Fury.
Okay.
Which is bullshit.
I see.
So the fight won't be for the undisputed champion.
Which is something we have to see. I mean, when was the last time that happened in history?
Lennox Lewis.
That's a long time ago. It's easily over a decade ago, right?
Yeah. But I mean, it just sums it up. You want to see Fury fight Joshua? It can happen now.
But then, how did they put these fights together then with Loma and Lopez? Would you envision that they managed to put this together?
That just happened. That was just.
It's just some.
Two fighters that wanted to fight. It happened at the right time. They had no mandatories.
Okay.
Lopez.
Good.
Just won the belt. This is his first defense. It just worked out perfectly.
Like managers that obviously working together well with each other.
Yeah. I mean
nice.
The Fury Joshua fight, they've already signed the contract. There'll be 2 fights next year.
Okay.
So there'll be 2 fights, one in the UK and one in the Middle East.
Oh, right. Yeah, Middle East is another place where there's going to be a lot of fight action, right? I mean, that's the...
Yeah, it was fine. I mean, it's not really good for us because the time difference is shit and we can't go.
That's right.
But I mean, see, the McGregor Pacquiao fight, that shouldn't be in the Middle East. Pacquiao's doing it for charity. McGregor said he doesn't give a shit about the money. His whiskey just hit the $500 million valuation.
I heard about that. Yeah, I've heard about that. So yeah, Conor McGregor's top shelf, what's it called? A proper 12 is now what I think it's 300 million pounds.
It's on course for $500 million.
Yeah, that's a. So he's cruising. He doesn't really need. He just needs to stay famous.
So why not do it in Manila?
In Manila, yes, do it. Yeah, or Macau. Come to Macau.
The
Philippines. I mean, how many Filipinos come out to watch? I've watched Manny fight 3 times here in Macau.
Yeah.
It's packed.
But imagine doing it in Manny's fucking hometown. That's Manny's last big fight.
It is, yeah.
Retires, yeah.
That's right.
Bring McGregor to the Philippines, man.
Oh wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
so what else is on the list? Potentials. We're just talking potentials, right? Oh, we got, of course, the Tyson and the Jones fight. We did touch on this a little bit in the last episode.
I mean, the state of boxing summed up perfectly that I was listening to a podcast in the taxi coming here, and they had Teofimo Lopez in an interview live on the podcast, and one of their questions was, "Are you excited for the Tyson,
the Roy Jones Jr. fight?" What did he say?
Well, he's buzzing for it. He's trying to get tickets.
Yeah. Yeah, Mike Tyson's really making that fight, huh?
Yeah, but I mean, like,
at least it's better than Logan Paul
KSI.
versus
KSI.
No, you said it was promoted Logan Paul versus Mayweather.
Yeah.
That's a disaster.
Yeah, it can't be
that's
true.
a disaster. That's like
it can't be.
That's
imagine the pay-per-view buys that would do.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
put.
because what they're doing is they're looking at the numbers, just like you said. They're saying, okay, he can pull this many numbers.
Yeah.
He can pull this many numbers. Who wants to be a millionaire? And all the managers, the promoters are all like, yeah, I want to be a millionaire. Let's go. Let's do this. And they're all focusing on these fights that make no sense.
Yeah, it's just
it makes no sense.
It's destroying the boxing boxing was a shaky sport before. There's so many governments, many weight divisions.
It's becoming so corrupt.
I think the reason that these fights make sense to the fans is because Tyson versus Jones.
Yeah.
It's easy to understand. There's one winner, one loser.
Yeah.
But if you look at boxing as a sport, do you know how many belts there are in boxing?
I was asking you this before. There's
17 weight divisions, yeah?
Okay.
And there's 4 major recognised belts: WBA, WBO, IBF, WBC, the big one, yeah.
Yeah.
That's 68 recognised world champions.
That's 68. But then there's these subcategories and this.
Yeah, like the fucking franchise champion.
There's obviously there's the common, like UK have their own belts.
Yeah.
The UK alone probably have 100 belts there.
Britain, Europe.
Europe, yeah,
America,
Commonwealth, it's just the Irish belt or this and that, yeah.
It's too much, man. It's too much, but then on the flip side, you've got the UFC who's got 8 weight divisions.
Sorry, everybody, we lost you there, if you were listening, if you were paying attention.
We've got 8 weight divisions in the UFC for the men's category. That's 8 easily recognisable champions.
Yep.
And do you know by the end of this year, every single belt would have been defended at least once.
Defended at least once.
In the UFC,
so that's a real champion.
Well, in the year of the pandemic, the UFC's managed to put on all of their champions inside the 12 months.
Yes.
That's the difference, whereas the boxing's got 6 to 8 different recognised champions.
Yeah, and there's these federations that decide who comes in next, who's the next contender.
Yeah.
And you need to have relationships with these federations, and then you also need to do this fight and that fight. And that's what I learned from that book, from Tyson Fury's book, how hard it was for him to get just the the Vladimir, the Klitschko fight.
Yeah, that took years and years.
It took so long because he just had to be in the position where it was a mandatory thing. He now has to fight Klitschko, right?
Even that was fucking...
And
mandatory doesn't even mean anything. Look at Dillian White. Dillian White was the WBC mandatory
for so long.
1,000 days.
Yes, for so long.
Until he
never got a fight.
Knocked out by
and then he got knocked out. He was just so out of the ring for so long.
Knocked out by Povetkin, you'd be fucking gutted, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
He could have just waited and fought the...
So boxing is in such a terrible state, right? It doesn't even seem like it's getting better. It seems like
it's not... It's easy to salvage. They won't do it. But you've got...
Just because there's so much money.
You've got the best heavyweights in the past decade. Like, not the past decade, but for the first time since Tyson's day, you've got a group of heavyweights that you can market and pit off against each other.
Yeah.
You've got Joshua, Fury, Deontay Wilder, undisputed top 3.
That's right.
Then you've got guys like Usyk,
up and coming.
Dillian White.
Yes, Dante's still in there.
You've got guys like Dubois versus Joyce next month. Those are 2 guys for the future. You've got this heavyweight division that's perfect to start a kind of feeder in the championship.
Yeah.
But that's easy if you're the UFC. If you're boxing, that's an incredible kind of thing to try and set up.
So much to navigate, so many people that you need to make happy, managers, promoters, which channels get the rights here. What even if you're doing it in Vegas, the hotels, certain hotels want rights to certain things, and apparently the hotels, it's all. I mean, everyone knows hotel business in Las Vegas is all mafia. It's like everybody there is mafia, right? So it's not a. I mean, like you were telling me before, you're like, it's interesting with MMA, you just got one federation, you got one guy. It's like, you're in, you guys are fighting, that's it. Whoever wins, that's the belt.
The best fight, the best.
Done. But whereas boxing, it's like, wait, did he this, and he has to contend for that, and he fought on this in this country at that time, so that means that it's this and this. There's all this, there's a labyrinth of rules, regulation, process that just kind of make people go like, what's going on here?
No one knows who the true champion is. I mean, WBC is generally recognised as the one belt because of its history.
Yeah.
But for the average guy watching a fight, there's belts on the line every single weekend.
That's right. Yeah. This belt, this guy comes in. This is the undisputed. The undisputed. It's just constantly.
Did you see the marquee event for the UK last weekend?
No.
So the UFC had Adesanya versus Costa.
Okay.
And the UK had. Look at these guys. little man versus Salim Chibob.
What?
The biggest little fight.
The biggest little fight. Yes. Wicked and bad.
Yes, two midgets fighting for the belt. That was the marquee event.
Man, people are just making up all kinds of shit now. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That is so ridiculous. He's a great fighter.
See, the thing is as well, that was pay-per-view.
Okay. Everybody.
That was £5 pay-per-view.
£5 pay-per-view.
Yeah.
You had to pay for that.
Yeah.
You had to pay for the biggest little man fight ever.
but it was half price.
Oh, it's half price. Yeah, it's already at a discount. So, all in all, it seems like boxing's fucked.
It's not fucked. We've got good fights coming up. They just don't make any sense.
Yeah.
There's no clear structure of if you beat this guy, who do you fight next?
Yeah.
Like,
well, I mean, as far as heavyweights go, we all want to watch Tyson Fury and we all want to watch Joshua. And those guys have good pulling power.
We want to watch it for the undisputed belts.
Yes.
Undisputed champion. Otherwise, it'll just become.
Just get messy.
It'll just add to the problem. Like it'll be one good night. Again, it'll be one more good night. But if Usyk has another belt, they're going to have to defend against Usyk. I don't know.
Okay. Because if Usyk gets in there first.
No, because if Joshua doesn't defend against Usyk, he has to vacate the IBF.
Okay. And then Tyson doesn't get it if he wins.
Tyson, that means only 3 of the belts would be in the line. Usyk,
okay. Whereas 4 is what we want.
1 would be vacated, Usyk would fight the next mandatory for it, and Joshua.
Yeah, because then Tyson Fury would have to then fight Joshua, win, then go fight Usyk.
Or whoever he fights.
Yeah. But it's because if you have a certain belt and that belt's on the line, you then have to fight that guy. Forget this belt. He's not in contestant for that belt. He has access to this one. That's what I always found.
The only way that Joshua Fury can fight for the undisputed title is if Usyk lets it happen. If Usyk decides to not take his mandatory.
Yes, and he says, I don't want to do this fight. I don't want the idea.
Maybe he can get the first shot at the next guy, whoever wins it, I don't know.
Yeah.
But Eddie Hearn says there's absolutely no fucking way that Usyk's going to give up his shot at the belt.
Wow. So then that just complicates it, right? That just makes it more difficult.
Which sums up the state of boxing.
All right, you heard it. That is the state of boxing, not only post-pandemic, but apparently this is how it's been going on for a while, and we're going to be seeing this for the foreseeable future.
I'm not even sure if that podcast made sense.
Yeah, but I think it's catchy. People want to know, right? Everyone kind of has an understanding of what, their understanding of what combat sports is like, oh, there must be some people in control here. No, and it's like, yeah, with UFC, there is there is one guy who knows what he's doing and he has it in control. But boxing, it's not that state. It's just a mess.
You just need to take it for what it is. You enjoy it for this one single event. It won't mean anything towards the grand scheme of
things. Yeah.
And we just need to hope.
Yes.
We get a bit of luck and we get the best fights.
Yes, that's right.
If Joshua Fury doesn't happen in the next 12 months, that's it.
Then that's it. It's just not ever going to happen.
It's just, I don't know, it's just a joke. Like if Joshua
We need Usyk to get injured.
But I want to see Usyk.
No, I think Usyk adds to that heavyweight division really, really well. As far as anybody else in the heavyweight division, I think he's his reputation is sound.
I'm just worried about his size, but I mean, Mike Tyson wasn't huge.
Yeah. And he's got some fire in him too. I mean,
he's Ukrainian. He trains with Lomachenko.
Yes, yeah.
Same camp. So
anyway,
Chisora will be a good test.
So we'll see. Maybe we can get one more podcast in before the Loma fight. Obviously, it's going to be October holidays here now. Probably you'll be seeing me and Rory back before the Khabib versus Gaethje fight. We're gonna tear that one up. That's going to be a fun episode. And that kind of actually that comes after the Loma fight, right?
Yeah.
So we'll do a Loma and Khabib Gaethje. We'll do one podcast for both those events coming. Sound good? All right, guys. Peace.